Kristen Maddox, Public Information Officer for the School District of Indian River County, and we are excited to say that we have kicked off a very successful 2019-2020 school year. We're so happy to have all of our students, teachers, and staff members back in our schools and have the energy back on our campuses in Indian River County. Today I have Lieutenant Colonel Carol Oates and I have Mr. Jim Romanek, who is the Executive Director at the Veterans Council in Indian River County. And we're here to talk about the Veterans Council overall and most importantly, what they are doing in our classrooms to impact our students every day, because they play a very important role in our school district as well as our entire community. So, hello, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hello, how are you?
It's so good to have you. And I'm going to start off just by asking you, Jim, just tell me a little bit about what the Veterans Council does overall, just in the community here.
Overall, our mission is to help veterans throughout Indian River County. There's about 15,000 veterans overall. And what we offer is like 6 programs for veterans that they could come to us and we could support them. A lot of them also deal with mental health, which now we're becoming a resource for as well. So in general, that's what we're there for. We help them with financial assistance, construction projects, transportation to hospitals, local CBOCs, things like that, and also veteran outreach.
And how is the Veterans Council, how are they funded, and where does that money go?
That's a good question. We're funded just basically locally from any in-kind donation that comes. We do receive a couple grants from Impact 100, United Way Impact 100, and the community outreach. But otherwise, all our funding is here in Indian River County from Indian River County donors, and all the money that we spend is here in Indian River County only.
Wow.
So we appreciate that from the donors that support us.
That's great. Now, I know that there are a couple of different programs that we want to highlight, but there's several programs that you have in the Veterans Council, but a couple in particular, one of them being the Veterans Helping Veterans, the VHV. Can you tell me a little bit about that program and what you do?
Sure. The VHV program was set up to help veterans who mainly are construction projects. So say we get a veteran that comes in and needs handicap bars put in or a handicap ramp built for his house now that he has, become handicapped. We'll go and do that as long as they meet our requirements. They have to be an honorably discharged veteran and they have to be sustainable. Not so much with his salary or anything, that we take into for granted, but he has to also be unable to do these projects. So we did receive a grant from United Way Impact 100. We had 2 years to spend it, and within 9 months, we absorbed all those funds. That's how much the need was.
Wow. Now, I love the fact that you're funded and you spend the money in Indian River County, but not only that, you're also using veterans to help veterans when you're doing these home projects. And tell me a little bit about how you accomplish the projects as far as using contractors or using veterans that might have that specialty.
Sure. Being a veteran organization, we like to reach out to veteran-owned organizations or construction companies. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that the committee would go out and do. Also, we have a group called the Next Gen, where some of these guys and girls are already equipped in those trades. Mm-hmm. So we'll contact them and they'll get on board and then come help us out as well and put them to work and help them.
That's wonderful. So the second program, the UAV, that's Upward American Veterans. And those are veterans that require emergency financial assistance, correct?
Yes, say they get in a bind. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a veteran who his disabled check got lost in the mail, but he had bills to pay. So he came to us and we helped him out because we knew he was still going to get his check eventually. So he met the requirement of being sustainable. Mm-hmm. But at that time, we didn't want to have his electric shut off or his utilities shut off.
Right.
So he met the need and we helped him out.
And do you find that anyone has ever well, I'm sure they reach out to you, but does anyone ever come to you as far as someone within the Veterans Council might say, I know someone who could really use some help right now, and you reach out to them?
Absolutely, and we even put that out there. We, to our 25 memberships that are part of our council, we have a general meeting every month, but we also do an email blast saying, look, here's what we're for. This is what we do. We help veterans and their families. And so if you do have someone in need, even from this show, if there's a veteran out there that has a need, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Awesome.
That's our passion.
Great, thank you so much. And now I want to move on to Colonel Oates to talk a little bit about what the Veterans Council, what they're doing in the school district, because I don't think enough people are aware of the work that you're doing in our schools with our children in the school district. So one of the programs that you have is Veterans in the Classroom. So explain to our viewers a little bit about what Veterans in the Classroom is.
Yes, thank you. I've been involved with Veterans in the Classroom. This will be my 6th year. We've had it a couple of years longer than that. And it really began because there was a prototype organization called the Joe Foss organization that nationwide helped get the veteran groups started involvement with schools, with teaching classes. Our program has developed 3 teams within our organization. 2 teams focus primarily on Vero Beach, and another team on Sebastian. So we cover the North County and the South County. I'm the head of one of the teams, and our team last year gave about 28 different classes, and not including some non-school like Rotary clubs and Exchange Club talks. But we've developed 4 programs, 4 different lesson plans, if you were. One is called the Flag Protocol, and it talks all about the American flag, because all the schools are involved with raising the flag in the morning, taking it down in the afternoon. They're involved at times during the year based upon whether the president or the governor issues the order of doing half-mast. So we teach the students how to carry the flag, how to fold the flag, how to raise it properly, how to respect it, and then, of course, taking it up, taking it down. That's a very good program for the students. They love getting involved with it. The other programs are called Veterans Day program and Memorial Day program. Obviously, we talk about what Veterans Day is and what's the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and there is a difference. So those classes are in high demand around those times, around the Memorial Day time and the Veterans Day time. In fact, our team already has some classes scheduled for this coming Veterans Day. The last program is a very interesting program. It's called Americanism. Now, the American Legion organization took Americanism on as their motto, as their goal. And it basically is to teach, what is Americanism? What does it mean to be an American? What are your obligations as an American? What are the obligations of your country to you as well? So we've fine-tuned this program based upon who we talk to. Primarily our audiences are 3rd grade through high school, but we have done some classes below 3rd grade, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. My team is made up of all officers from the Military Officers Association, and we have luckily enough for the last few years we've had a lady involved, a military retiree. We had a lady who was an Annapolis graduate and a Navy pilot. She was a big hit. And now we have another lady who's a retired Army colonel, and she actually taught for many years at the lower levels, classes 1 through 2. And she loves doing that type of class. We had an addition to our program as well. Last year we added Michelle Dale. Michelle is a lady who is involved with the Veterans Council. Her husband sits on our board. And Michelle is a Gold Star mother. Now, Gold Star mothers means that you lost a child in the war. And her son died in 2010. Michelle does a program, short 10 minutes, called What Does It Cost? What is the cost of serving? It's an excellent program. We've done it for non-school as well, but we try to include it in the upper grades, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and so forth, where we talk about the cost of serving and what does it mean to serve and to be. One of our principal things as veterans, and many of us, like myself as a retired veteran, we have an obligation to pass on that we've learned and that spirit, that enthusiasm, that motive onto the younger people. And here in Indian River County, I have to tell you, I've been in many classrooms. We are blessed. They all start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. We do a segment of a class about what does the Pledge of Allegiance mean? What's it mean when you take the Pledge of Allegiance? We go on to Star Spangled Banner. When was that created? Who created it? A lot of history is involved with the classes. We have had tremendous feedback from the schools, from the principals, and we're making it better. We're doing segments with a small little 5-minute video, and then we talk about it. And then at the end, there's always a question and answer period. My team usually wears its uniform. Even though we're old soldiers, we still either get into our uniform or we bought a new one, and we see that that's very effective with the children. They love to see the uniform. They ask a lot of questions about the uniform. We're not there recruiting students. We're there to pass on the lessons learned and to make our students better citizens, quite frankly.
Right, and we as a school district, we're very proud to recognize our veterans, and we have special programs that I know our campuses are doing every year in celebration of Veterans Day in particular. And you know, we have heard from the community several times when it's falling on a weekday, well, why don't we have that day off? Why don't the students have that day off? Well, what we're doing on our campuses is so important, educating the students about Veterans Day and having our veterans on campus and celebrating them. We just think it's such a great opportunity to take to be in school. As long as we're doing these things and educating them and celebrating veterans, what a wonderful way to spend that day.
We normally start every class with those who have a veteran in their family, brother, a sister, a mother, a father, grandparents. Raise your hand. It's overwhelming how many here in Indian River County are in some way connected to the service. And it opens a lot of doors that way. We feel real good about our what we call still serving status. So it's an excellent program.
Right, and I know we do have, like you said, so many students that have, you know, either retired or currently serving members of any military branch. And when we do things to recognize the veterans and to make those days special, it means a lot to them as well.
It sure does. It sure does. And we're totally involved. We're totally open now for the new school year here. We've got some classes already set up, but what it takes is for the teachers and the principals to request us, and we'll be there. We'll do whatever they need. That's
Absolutely,
for sure.
And well, we just really appreciate your support and your partnership in our schools. The lessons that you're teaching our students and our teachers and staff, they're just invaluable. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And Memorial Day, let's not forget about Memorial Day and the importance of honoring that day, because we've had our high school band on Memorial Island since I was in the high school band, and I know long before that even, so over a decade.
It's fantastic to have the high school band there with us in our events. Memorial Day is a more solemn day because we remember those who were the fallen ones.
Right.
Veterans Day is a day for all the veterans, alive or passed away. And but having the high school band there is tremendous. And we were very lucky as an organization, the Indian River County Veterans Council, to be able to donate, help out the band getting over to London this last year.
Well, thank you so much for that, because I know that was such a special trip for them.
Yeah.
And another huge concert that the band puts on is the Red, White, and Blue concert.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure that you've been to one of those concerts.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
We have, and we advertise it heavily for all of our participants to get there. So having the band and the high school deeply involved with us, we really, truly appreciate. Up in Sebastian, we've been involved also with the ROTC, Junior ROTC.
Right.
And we're happy to say that we are some of the presenters of the awards at the end of their school year for the students that have done very well and have shown themselves well in leadership or other skills such as that. Yeah.
Right, and we have the ROTC programs at both Sebastian and Vero, and I hear an awful lot about the Sebastian ROTC group. I know that they are very heavily involved in community service projects. They have done beautification projects on their campus for the school, and both Vero and Sebastian, the cadets, their color guard, they come to our board meetings and they start our board meetings off, and they are just wonderful, wonderful students. And speaking of Sebastian ROTC, Lieutenant Commander Landis, who is oversees the Navy JROTC program and is the senior naval science instructor, he was just recognized as Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University's Regional Teacher of the Year. So we're very proud of him. That's a huge honor, and more will be announced about that in the very near future. But while now that we've talked about kind of what you do in our schools, can you tell us a little bit about the Victory Center in the mall? Because I know it's a store that a lot of people pass and may not go into, and I want to know like what you're doing in that store, how we can be involved and help you.
Well, our Veterans Council of Indian River County has gotten national recognition because we are the only one, or one of the few Veterans Councils that have actually started a retail store. This November, I believe, completes 7 years that we've been there, with the help of the mall, giving us a decent break on the rent, and with the help of our members from the Veterans Council who volunteer their time. There's no one in that store who gets paid. So everyone in there working is a volunteer. I was a volunteer manager for 2 years up until a year ago, and I got too busy with some of my other commitments in the Veterans Council. But the store is a really great place. First of all, we have the back of the store, which is called the Bunker. It's a lounge. It's got a nice couch or two. It's got a refrigerator. It's got coffee in there all the time. Many of the people who are going to the mall, we like to say their wives, it's not always the wife, but they like to say the wives drop the husband off there. He has everything he needs to read or to people to talk to, coffee, and he's there associating with other veterans. Many of them are veterans. In the front of the store is a total retail store, and we're very happy about that. It started, like I said, about 7 years ago with a donation from a lady who wanted to get involved with the Veterans Council. They used her money to begin to buy the first inventory for the store, and then, like I said, with the help of the store management, we're able to open that retail space. It's very rewarding. It's a great place to stop in, and if you need a t-shirt or a shirt with Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard, we've got it there. Flags as well. So I invite everyone to stop in there. Now, one of the benefits of the store is some of the students from our school system get credits for doing outside the school work with different organizations, volunteer credits. Right. And we have several of them every year that come up and apply as assistants in the store, stocking the shelves, putting things in order, taking out the garbage at times, which we've all done. And it's a great place for them to get to sit and talk with some of the veterans. Once or twice a year, the school, or one of our schools, or two of our schools, gives the students a task. The task is to go out and interview a veteran. Now, some of them can interview their own parents, their grandparents, their brother, their sister. But many of them come up to the store. There's always 4 or 5 veterans sitting there and from different services. So they'll ask the questions of our veterans, they'll do the interview, and they go back and they've completed the task. So the store is a real focal point for us, and it gives us good visibility as well.
Great, and I think that your bunker is about to become a lot busier now that everyone knows that that's the hiding spot while the wives are shopping, right? But we want to make sure that our students know that, you know, when they're looking for volunteer opportunities this year, that that's available. So they need to just stop in and...
We always need volunteers.
Right.
We always need help. So yes, I would have them stop in there, talk to whoever the manager is of the day.
Great.
And get started.
Awesome. That'd be a great place. I'd love to see our students there for sure. And so, Jim, back to you. We started something in the school district back, I believe it was September 2018, a Veteran of the Month. And we began to honor a new veteran every month at our board meetings. In July, we had Jim Burke.
Yep.
And our August Veteran of the Month is Ben Humphreys. And before we talk a little bit about them, just tell me, have you heard or have you seen anyone talking about the impact that that has on the veterans who are being honored? Because I feel like it means a lot to them to be recognized at the board meetings. I get that feeling when they come, and we're very proud of them. And what do you think that that is doing, just recognizing our veterans each month like that?
Well, first off, I think it really, when I ask them, they feel honored. They're like, wow, really? I want to be honored? And it's like, yeah, they want to honor you. They do this every month. I know with Jim Burke, you know, he was just totally taken by it. Of course, because he was just retiring he was the American Legion commander for the state of Florida. So, you know, as Colonel Oates mentioned, you know, we go, we serve, and we feel proud about what we've done, and then we come back, but to be recognized by the community, I think is something that's, especially because they live here, it's like wow, thank you, it's awesome, you know, and they appreciate it, they really do, you know. Some, you know, veterans tend to be standoffish sometimes, you know, they've done what they've served their country, right, and they're proud of that, but you know, now that they're some of them, now that they're home, you know, just want to go on with life. But that unsung appreciation really goes far, and they express that amongst veterans, and I hear about it. So we really appreciate that.
Well, we're absolutely honored to do it. And everyone that I've spoken to, like you said, they're always, I mean, incredibly humble to the point where, you know, I'm so happy to have you working with me and coordinating this, because I don't think I could ever get anyone to step up to the plate on their own. You know, it's you guys at the Veterans Council, you help in choosing someone, which I'm sure is a very hard task, because every veteran deserves to be honored as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. Yep.
And hopefully this initiative will continue on for years to come.
Oh, yeah,
so that
hopefully
we can continue doing that every month at our board meetings, because it's just such an important thing to do.
It's wonderful to be recognized, and I might add that along those lines of being recognized, our community here has a magnificent Veterans Council made up of the 25 organizations that are different veterans organizations within the community. If there are veterans out there in our community who are wondering about if it's for them or not to be involved, once a month we have our Veterans Council meeting. It's open to the public. We just had it yesterday. And it's an opportunity for them to come in, sit down. Each program or committee gives its report as to UAV, for instance. How many people did they help? How much money did we spend? The VHV, the Veterans Helping Veterans, how many programs have we completed? And are we are getting more funding, which is very happy to say. Veterans in the classroom, we give a little report about how many classes we've given and things of that nature. Transportation, you know, back and forth to West Palm is organized and run by our Veterans Council. So the Memorial Island, which a lot of people know, where we have our Memorial Day and Veterans Day events, is overseen by the Veterans Council. And it's a large opportunity for any of the veterans who would like to participate. They don't have to, they can sit and listen if they want, but they can get involved in any of these programs and I think feel better about themselves, about their service, and the fact that they're passing that on to the next generation or just our civilization in general. It's a good opportunity.
And I just feel like Indian River County in particular is so special with the connection that we have to our veterans because, you know, I've lived a couple different places and Indian River is like no other. I mean, we are so heavily connected and our veterans and the Veterans Council is so rooted and just intertwined in our community, our schools, just everything. And it's so wonderful to, you know, be able to have that relationship, not only in our school district, but throughout our entire community.
I absolutely agree. And you know, we've got so many people doing so much for so many. And that $1 that we spend, we try to utilize that $1 to touch a lot of veterans and their families.
Right.
So it's well worth it.
Right. And the school district does another important point that I just remembered is the Veterans Council is on our calendar for November, I believe, for Casual for a Cause. And I'm sure you're both familiar with that.
Yes, yes.
And so typically the Veterans Council would come out the month before and speak to our principals and prepare them for the month of November to share information with our schools. So when November comes around, we have our Casual for a Cause Day, which is one day when in exchange for a donation that the students and teachers and staff members are allowed to dress casually. And then the money that we collect from that day from all of our schools and departments, we're able to present the Veterans Council with a check at the board meeting.
Yes.
And we're so happy to be able to do that for not only the Veterans Council, but for several organizations in Indian River County and national organizations.
Fantastic, makes us feel good. I've been at the other end receiving the check on 2 occasions, so it's been great.
Well, we're looking forward to doing that again this year.
Thank
For
you
sure.
very much, thank you.
And just the last thing that I don't want to forget, Jim, tell us a little bit about the golf tournament that's coming up on October 5th.
Yes, that would be our 4th annual outing. It's going to be held at Grand Harbor Golf Club, Golf and Beach Club. It's a afternoon, so it's 11 o'clock start, and we'll be free driving range, free putting range. But all those funds that are raised there, that's one of our big fundraisers. We have that, and we have our gala, which will be in March of 2020. But that golf outing is one of our huge fundraisers, so we look out for support for that, and anybody that could come out and sponsor a hole or do anything, we'd love to have you on board.
Great, and you can find that information in the connection, and we'll be advertising it on social media for the district. You could reach out to the Veterans Council for registration information. So just make sure that you get yourself involved and help support our veterans. And I just want to thank both of you so much for being here today and coming and talking about the Veterans Council and just making sure that everyone is very aware of what you're doing in Indian River County and in our school district.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
Kristen,
your time,
having
and
us.
we're looking forward to a new school year working with
yeah.
you all. Thank you so much for watching our Community Corner show today, and stay tuned for several more episodes this school year. I'm Kristen Maddox, your Public Information Officer. Have a wonderful day.